Hello, SlimmBob here. Time for another review. And this time, I'm doing my Liam Neeson impression. In fact, this is probably why. I'm reviewing this film, The Grey. This is something which I really wanted to see, because I'm a huge Liam Neeson fan. He's just... everything he's in is very good. And even bloody Phantom Menace. Everyone hated that film. It's out of prequels, I would say that Phantom Menace is best. It's probably nostalgia, mostly, what's saying, making me say this, because I can play that film in my head. But Liam Neeson's good in it, and he just... everything he's in just is instantly better, because he's in it. You know, it's not biased at all, but I'm messing, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Liam Neeson's great, and this is one of those films. The way this were advertised, you didn't know what it were about. I honestly had no idea. I didn't know they were a plane crash. I didn't know anything about this film, but this is actually a disaster film. Basically, there's a plane crash. You got these group of hunters. They're this camp, and they go on a plane, and the plane crashes in the middle of this. I think it's Alaska. It is Alaska, yeah. And you know, it's freezing cold. They can't stay, and what it is, what's hunting them? Wolves are hunting them. And before we start, I need to mention people have criticised this film by saying, "Well, wolves don't act like that. Wolves aren't like that, you bastard." Well, you know what? That's what makes this film good, because they're unpredictable. If they acted like wolves, we'd know what's going to happen. But we don't, because they're acting different. There we go, rant over. Right, my point is, I really fucking enjoyed this film. I thought it was brilliant. And apart from the ending, everything else was just... it was paced beautifully, it was just shot beautifully. All the characters were different, they were all really interesting, and you have certain characters which at first you think, they're fucking knobheads, I don't like them. But later on you'd learn about them. You'd slowly reveal these characters, and it's nice to see a film take its time like that and actually focus on it for a change. Especially like Liam Neeson's character, because he's the one that leads everyone, and all the way through, well, you learn that he's unhappy and all that, and all the way through he gives all this information. I don't really want to say, because that's the fun in this film, it's learn about the characters, like how in these extreme circumstances they've all forced to reveal who they really are and stuff. It's just... and you get this point in every disaster film in history. You've had this one bloke who's ballsed it up for everyone, who's been a pillock from start to finish and ballsed it up. In this film they hint at that, but they don't go all the way. They actually make it realistic. They actually think, well, at some point they're going to actually snap into reality. And there is a one point where you think, oh fuck, is he really going to do this? And it actually plays with your mind, and it actually goes against your expectations, and that impressed me. I must say, that really impressed me. And there's some really tense scenes, like there's a scene where they're going across it involves a rope and involves a cliff, and you know, one of the characters has a fear of heights, and I'm not scared of heights, but it makes you really tense, and the way they do it is just really well done. And because the characters are so believable, because they're brilliant, it really does push it. And yeah, I think this was quite underrated when it came out. It didn't have brilliant reviews. I don't really understand. Well, I do. The ending. The ending is not finished. This film isn't finished. It ends where I'm not going to say what happens, but I shall describe it. The ending doesn't finish their journey. Let's put it that way. It feels like there's just something missing from it. I don't know if that's just me, but he leaves it. Do you know what it's like? It's like the original Mass Effect 3 ending. It leaves things ambiguous for no reason. It's like it leads up to a climax that doesn't happen. You know, like, alright, you know Mass Effect 3? For all those people who don't play games, just bear with me, right? In the end of Mass Effect 3, you've been thinking all the way through, I want to fucking kill Harbinger, I need to kill Harbinger. You never get that confrontation. This reminded me of that, and because you don't get that confrontation, you feel a bit hollow. This kind of reminded me of that, and yeah, apart from the ending, it's kind of like Knowing. Knowing's the same. That was a really good film until the ending isn't as bad as Knowing. I didn't leave this film like unsatisfied. I just felt like there could have been more to it, if you know what I mean. Whereas Knowing, it were like, that is one of the worst endings I've ever seen in a film. It is really, it really jumped the shark, or whatever the expression is. I actually don't know that expression. That's good of me, innit? Bloody clever son. But yeah, this film, it is depressing. Like, the characters, think about it, real people. Is anyone really happy? Everyone has problems. You see all these problems. Everyone's in a bleak situation. They're telling you about their backstories. You know, creating this sense of false hope. It's a depressing film. If you don't like that, if you got upset, saying that I got upset, there was this film as a kid, it was about a dog that played basketball, I don't know what it is. There's a bit where this bloke, the bloke who's been taking care of this dog, he leaves him. There's like a boat, he leaves him on this island and he goes away. That made me cry every time. I used to get that from library every week, that film, and it made me cry every week. Don't know why I just told you that. Well, yeah, this is a depressing film, and I was going to say, if you had that problem as a kid where you cried at films, you won't like this film, but that's not true, because I had that problem as a kid, and I like this film. So, if you don't like depressing, if you don't like depressing films, you're not going to like this, because it's depressing. If you don't. But luckily, I've watched a lot of depressing films, and some of the best films I've seen are depressing, actually. And think about it, imagine if Lion King would have ended where Mufasa died. In a way, that does end the story, like where Mufasa died. Like, they could have... Nowadays, they would do that. They'd be like, fuck it, we want a sequel. Have a sequel after when Mufasa dies. But, yeah, I recommend this. If you're a fan of Liam Neeson, if you're a fan of survival films, because it's a different twist on survival films. It started off, I had no idea it was a survival film, and the way it combines it, it's horror as well, because there are bits at night, you know, they don't know where the wolves are and things, and it's actually really, it's quite scary, and yeah, and just the way these characters evolve, the way they all mature and evolve, and a lot of survival films don't get this right. They focus on the big spectacle and they don't focus on what it should be. The whole point in survival is about people, how people deal with extreme situations. This is one of those films that focuses on the people and not the actual, you know, effects, and it's nice to have that for a change. So if you want a survival film that's different, it's definitely worth checking out this. And yeah, apart from the ending, everything else really does work. It really flows brilliant, and I'm going to check out this director, because just the way it's directed, it feels different. It's great. So yeah, I'm going to give it 4 fingers, because the ending, endings are very important to me as a viewer. I value good endings, and this didn't deliver on that, but it's definitely worth checking out on DVD. Like, if you can, £7, if you see it for £7 or £9, I'd buy it. I would seriously buy it. It's definitely worth a rent anyway. So yeah, this is SlimmBob. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.